These men come down here from New York and from Florida to find out my reasons on rock and roll music and why I preach against it, and I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today. I 100% believe it. And why I believe that is because I know how it feels when you sing it. I know what it does to you. And I know the evil feeling that you feel when you sing it. I know the lost position that you get into in the beat. Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about rock and roll music that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat, the beat, the beat.
What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to Afterloadout here in the Brookstone Studios, brought to you by Signal Fire Agency, the Wallet Drum Key, and Georgia Fire Hot Sauce. I am one of your hosts, Bryan Harris, with my boy Josh Green. We got him in the studio. What is this? This is episode, I think, 3. Is that correct?
Episode 4.
Is it episode 4?
Last week was 3.
That's right.
Almost to 5. Like
I know. Also, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is when this comes out. It'll be Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving Day.
What are you thankful for, me? Why did you laugh? Wait, okay, let's talk about this. You laughed really too hard on that. What? Are you thankful for me? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm thankful for you. See, that wasn't hard.
No. I'm not used to that kind of vulnerability.
I know. Okay, let's get into it. Tell us about your childhood. No, do you want to lay on the couch while we do this?
No shit.
Dude, you know, it's weird. Like, it's already Thanksgiving. Like, I walked in and I saw your Christmas tree.
Christmas trees.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm like, dude, it's almost Christmas.
It is. And it feels like it was just summer.
I know.
Yeah.
I already, dude. I mean, we closed our pool like today, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to open this.
Wait, I've closed it. I mean, dude, you should have closed it a couple of months ago.
I know we've been procrastinating, but no, I mean, we finally got the guy coming out today. We're gonna close it, but no, it is what it is. How was your weekend? Everything good?
Yeah, man, it was good. Didn't really, honestly, I lay low on the weekends a lot, so I didn't really do anything. Watched the CMA Awards on Wednesday, and then just football all weekend.
It's been nice.
Yep.
I think this is like the prelim to next weekend, because man, next weekend you talk about sports. Like, it's going to be so good. Auburn plays Oregon tonight. I'm really excited about that. You got Monday Night Football. Next week's the Iron Bowl, which I'm going to, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's going to be fun in Auburn.
Yeah, and y'all play what, Georgia Tech? Is that
right?
Yeah,
we play Tech.
That's y'all's big rivalry.
I would say y'all are our big rivalry,
well,
but
the end of the year.
But it's the in-state.
Yeah.
But I mean, different conference, so it doesn't really.
Right.
But historically, I think it is.
Well, I mean, Auburn and Georgia, that's the oldest.
Yeah.
South's oldest rivalry.
Well, it's actually a meaningful game.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess every game's meaningful these days, like with the season, but a short season compared to NFL, but still, you know what I mean?
Man, it hasn't been lately, man. Y'all have killed us every freaking year. Dude, y'all are the one, like, you and Alabama, dude, like, watching y'all win national championships just makes me want to.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, not when they win, but when we win.
I want to punch babies. Don't put me in a nursery watching that game. I'd go crazy.
I hear you. But dude, did you watch the CMA Awards? I mentioned that.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I've seen more clips than anything. I think I was working that night, but dude, it was like the clips I saw.
Dude, best award show I've seen in a long time.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a '90s country award show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think Zach Top kind of kicked it off. Is that right?
Lainey kicked it off.
Yeah,
and she was the host as well. I think Zach Top played pretty early. I can't remember the order of performances, but he definitely won early on. He had a good night.
He's one of the nicest guys you will ever.
Yeah, I was shooting pool with him about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. My girlfriend actually does like PR for him, and we took our little dog to this little lake place, and dude, it's so funny because I saw like 12 people get off this boat, and I'm like, dang man, that's a lot of people. And then I look over, I'm like, babe, that's Zach, right? And so I walked Penny, I walked back, and man, met him, truly, and like people were coming up to him, and dude, you never know, like, on like interviews and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
He seems like a really nice guy, but he truly, genuinely And dude, his speech was hilarious. Going up there with the Coors Light.
Oh yeah, I know.
He's like, I was supposed to leave this, but I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he had a good night, man. I think Strays beat Old Dominion. That was a huge thing for.
Yeah.
I forget how many years in a row Old Dominion.
8?
Something like that. It was.
You know what that moment reminded me of? It reminded me of the Chris Stapleton
Timberlake.
It was like kind of the, I don't want to say the death of bro country, but it was like a new era of like.
It ushered in. I mean, dude, that was exactly 10 years ago, 2015. And because I shared that performance, CMA had uploaded it to their YouTube again. They had taken it down like the day of the award. So I shared it on social media and was like, I remember watching this. And I had a funny story. Well, it's not really funny. I did a show with Chris just about 2 years prior to that. And he got a ticket, a parking ticket, and was like, we're sitting in the green room, you know, what the fuck do I do? Like, I'd pay this? And I was like, dude, like, you ever plan on being back in Columbus, Georgia? And it was me, him, Morgan, his wife, Wayne Mills was there. And a few other people. And I was like, you ever plan on being back here? He's like, probably not.
So he's got a warrant for his arrest.
I was just like, fuck it,
dude.
man.
Okay, so if he ever gets arrested, that's your fault.
Well, then, yeah. Well, then it's funny. He was like, yeah, I doubt I'll ever be back. But then he had that Timberlake moment in 2015.
Yeah.
And he came back pretty quick and with a sold out arena. But by then, you know, it's buses and trucks. That van that he got a ticket on.
Dude, that's hilarious. No, speaking of Wayne Mills, man, shout out to him. Dude, he was the reason we actually came to Nashville for the first time. Yeah. He had this thing at the Blue Room where he would bring up bands, and we met him actually at the Floribama. Dude, you talk about a monster, like a personality and just man. Yeah. He was one of the nicest, but dude, that guy he was so much fun to be around. But
he was, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy we're talking about him because they just had the Wayne Mills celebration at Floribama this weekend.
Really?
Jack Mills, his son, played. Kyle Wilson played. You know, all.
I love Kyle, man.
Yeah,
Kyle and Davis. Oh, man, dude.
Davis wasn't down there, but yeah, that whole crew. You know, they played and celebrated Wayne. That's how I met Wayne, man. First, I was in Nashville looking for a house to move to, and went and saw Shooter and Wayne out in Dixon the night before, and then Wayne came by my hotel earlier that day, the day he passed away, and he was picking Davis or somebody up in the parking lot, and we just waved to each other like I was on the balcony, and I saw him, and then I was gonna meet up with him that night, but didn't. Him and Shooter and others. And then the shit went down, man. It was crazy, but I can't say I knew Wayne well, but I'd been around him several times. Nicest human, giant of a man.
Yeah, he was a football player.
Yeah, at Alabama.
Yeah. We always like that. You know, like I wouldn't say like I was, but every time we were down at Floribama, he would come watch us play when he was down there. And there was one night, it was funny, me and my brother and Davis and Wayne went out. It was after a Floribama show. I need to find the little voice memo, but it's like him singing some song. And we were like, oh man, that's awesome. Then I listened to it the next day. I was like this. I was like, what is this, man? But no, back to that, man. Like, you know, the moment it reminds me of, and cause I love the Red Clay. Like we've known those guys for since the beginning of their career. JT at Callahan's was the first one that was like, dude, you guys got to check this out. You know, we did some shows back in the day, but man, the thing is they were not supposed to win that award.
It's voted on
very well deserved.
But I think they're supposed to win it. I mean, it's
no,
time.
I'm not,
it's changing of the guard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they've kind of like destroyed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they're one of those bands that, dude, they're road dogs. They've been hitting the road since they're one of those bands. They're not supposed to win that, which is great. It's great for upcoming artists. I think it opens the door for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird that his vocal group, I don't really consider him. I mean, yeah, he's got great vocals, but it's not like they're all singing harmonies. Like, it's kind of a weird group, but they needed to win something.
Absolutely.
Like, it was their year to win something. It would be bullshit if they didn't. So
No, absolutely. Dude, they've had since Wondering Why went viral, which, I mean, fantastic song. I remember when that first album first came out. I think I sent John, their drummer, a message because they were trying to push. I forget what the single was, but
Good Godly Woman,
something like that. But
You're
I
like
hit
Southern
him up.
Rock,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I hit him up and I was like, dude, that's y'all's song. I was like, y'all need to push that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it exploded. But no, I mean, they're absolutely deserving. But yeah, it's the categories sometimes are weird.
Yeah, but I just love this change in the guard, man. There's so many with Zach, with the Strays, with Ella. Ella crushed it, and had a great night. And another Alabama artist, she actually went to Auburn.
Yeah, War Eagle. Yeah,
it's just, and then Lainey's awesome. She's great. She's the nicest human being in the world.
Yeah.
Just need Muscadine up there on that stage, and then it's a whole new Alabama takeover.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we've talked about this too. Like, Alabama's just having a moment, man. I mean, for a while it was the like Oklahoma with the Turnpike and
Zach Bryan.
Yeah, Zach Bryan. It's still
John Moreland.
It's still having that moment, but I think Alabama.
It was Oklahoma for a minute, and then it was Kentucky whenever it was Sturgill and Tyler and all those bands. I mean, those were the big two, but like these guys were going viral left and right on YouTube from Kentucky.
Well, I'll tell you, have you ever, and this is speaking of Kentucky, you ever heard of Nicholas Jamerson?
Yeah.
Dude, he is one of my favorite, probably singer-songwriters.
What was that band he was in?
He was Sunday's Best.
Sunday's Best, yeah.
Yeah, I forget the guy that played with him, but we've known Nick for a while. And dude, that guy, he has a song called Hindman, which is, I mean, if you haven't heard Hindman. But man, dude, you talk about
damn.
Yeah. But no, you talk about a song that you can put on repeat a million times.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Damn. Well,
yeah.
Shout out to Tim Parks, his manager as well. He's having a crazy success with a bluegrass band out of Kentucky, managing them called the Creekers that had that viral hit.
I think
Tennessee.
Yeah, that bluegrass is kind of having a moment. I mean, I think Billy Strings kind of opened the door for that, but
oh, for sure.
You got
Billy's he was just on Stern, by the way. I was on Stern first, by the way. So
were you really?
Yeah.
Were you really?
Yeah, I've been on Stern.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, we'll look this up in a while. You need to show the clip. Like, I want to see this. What was that like?
It was cool. I won $5,000 and they made fun of me for like 20 minutes.
What were you on Stern for?
I'll talk about it off air.
Were you on the Butterface segment?
No. Oh, fuck you. No, it was way worse than that.
Really? Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But he was on Stern recently, so he's definitely, I think moments like that are whenever you've crossed over into actual mainstream pop culture.
Yeah.
And he's there, like everyone is on board now. They know who he is.
Well, he also, man, like his rise was very like grassroots.
Yeah. I mean, he came from the bluegrass world. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
But then he tapped in to the hippies.
He did. It's all because I went to one of his shows, and he's got one of those like fan bases that, you know, you go watch him and you're like, I don't know how many people actually know these songs, or if it's just, you know what I mean? Like, but it's such a family just feeling when you're there. And man, he's, hell of a guitar player, and you know, I mean, he's great. But there's another band out of Birmingham, and I can't remember their name right now, but they're kind of coming up in the bluegrass world. And but I think bluegrass is kind of the, you know, the 90s country with the Zach Top and the bluegrass. I think that's kind of like making a really good rise. And I mean, it just shows good musicianship, man. So those are some of the best musicians.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I went through a bluegrass phase. It wasn't like my favorite, but going to bluegrass festivals and stuff, and they're so fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, it reminds
just camping
you,
out and watching.
It's just a bunch of hippies, man. They just, you know, but it's so funny because you'll meet some of these people and they're, you know, tripping or whatever. Yeah. You're like, so what do you do, man? He's like, I'm a brain surgeon. You're like, excuse me? Like, what?
Yeah, dude, I had a guy call me, and I wish I could remember his name, but he was inquiring. He had saw one of my artists open for somebody at the time. And I ended up Googling him, and he was one of the early investors in Facebook, and was like this super fucking rich dude.
Mark
like,
Zuckerberg?
No, it wasn't.
It's Mark Zuckerberg.
It wasn't the Zuck. But it got weird. Like, he's talking to me, and you can tell he's kind of out there, and he wants to book this guy, and I'm like, what do you want to book him for? And he's like, we have this conference about psychedelics, and I was like, is he into psychedelics? I'm like, dude, I don't know. He's a musician, probably. Like, but he starts going into like deep detail, like how it, you know, like that Rogan-esque, like,
yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I think he just does it for fun.
He's like, we're paying him in shrooms, and it's at my house, and you're like, all right. Like, he's like $30,000.
But it finally, like, I mean, before I Googled him, I got kind of rude with him on the phone. I regret it. And I was like, listen, dude, I don't know if he does fucking drugs. Like, do you want to book the show or not? Like, because it was like 30 minutes of this guy talking about, you know, craziness.
Like, are you tripping right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. And I was just, man, I got shit to do.
I got to work, man. Nah, dude, dude, it's crazy. Like I said, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm gonna go back home, visit my girlfriend's family, and eat a shit ton of dressing. That's the plan.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I plan on eating until I pass out.
Yeah,
and then wake up and probably eat some more,
and then pass out again.
Yeah.
Is it just from the food, or?
Oh yeah.
No Jaeger bombs.
Probably the night before.
Yeah,
I don't do bombs.
Oh, do you? How you do it? You do straight.
Yeah, I don't like all the sugar, and I don't need a Red Bull. I can't sleep at night anyways. I don't need all that shit.
You know what's crazy is, like, when I was in college, I was prescribed Adderall. Mm-hmm. So like none of the like Red Bulls and 5-hour, they don't work on me, dude. I could take those and go to sleep. Like, it's. I
don't sleep anyways. So no, dude. I was up till 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And now
this morning.
Yeah.
Have you been to sleep?
Yeah, I slept for a couple hours.
Okay, good. No, dude, I'm excited though, man. I'm going down to I leave Wednesday, and going down to see the family. We're going down. My cousin Jamie has a place down in Tuscaloosa. We're going. I'm going in enemy territory. So.
Yeah, damn,
dude, it's so funny because like a lot of my family are Alabama fans, and a lot are Auburn fans. So Thanksgiving's always funny, man, because we're always very cordial, you know, like, hey, how are you? It's good to see you. It's been, been a little while, but then come Saturday, you're like, I hate this person.
Yeah. Yeah, we're down there. We've got the hotel Tuesday through Sunday, I believe, maybe Saturday, hopefully Saturday. And I don't know if I'm going Tuesday or Wednesday, just whatever it feels like. But yeah, I kind of want to. I wish I was just going Thursday and coming right back. Yeah, but it's too long of a drive. I love family. I like being home, man.
Yeah, the older I get, like, I love my bed.
We had Thanksgiving at our house last year, and it was great. Like, I wanted people to stay as long as they wanted. Yeah, like it's not y'all.
It's not y'all.
I just like being at home.
No, dude, I'm the same. But I don't get to go home very much.
Yeah,
so I'm like. This is my favorite time of the year,
and
we'll go over there and watch football and eat into the oblivion, and it'll be a good day, man. Like,
for sure.
I'm excited. I love it. Also, this is just a good time for sports. So I love it. Food and sports.
Can't beat that.
Nope.
And then Blackout Wednesday.
Nah, I'll be driving. So.
I gotcha. Yeah. That is one thing I do like. I don't do it as much now, but I am going out this Wednesday. But like seeing old friends and high school friends and you know, forcing Jaeger upon them.
Yeah.
To
Where are you gonna go? Do you know what is it? What you got a spot there that you like to go to?
generally speaking, yeah, but I'm going somewhere different this time. They're having like a turkey jam with a bunch of bands and some friends from back home that, you know, play in cover bands and stuff are gonna be playing, and so my girlfriend's actually bartending it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Do they have Jaeger there? Have you already called?
Yes. Yeah.
You're like, hey, how are you?
I know the owner. I know the owner, and he we were FaceTiming the other day, and I was like, hey, you got cold Jaeger, right? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, all right.
But you know, it's funny I do that, man. I'm like, people are like, "What's your drink?" I'm like, Bud Lights and Rebels and vodkas. Like that.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, I know. Nah, but man, we got a good show today.
We do. I actually just sent him the link, but BJ from American Aquarium, BJ Barham, I'm like super excited to talk to him too.
I know, man. He's. I know we've talked about him on the show before, and you know we've done shows with him. You know, you know, picking his brain because he really is. You talk about like the epitome of like a road dog.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's very, very much of like, I'm doing this myself, and you got to respect what he does. And also he's a hell of a singer songwriter, man.
Oh dude. I mentioned on another episode that he's my favorite songwriter. Him and Butch Walker, I'm just giant fans of. But he's a guy that I think is a good follow up to last week's episode because he's figured out his niche of the business, and merch and how to make a dollar doing this without you know, selling your soul, without you know, he owns all his publishing and all of his masters and
Has
just
his own label.
Has his own label, just does everything independently and successfully. And you don't have to play arenas to have a career in this. You just have to figure out your niche and reach those people. And I think that's what I'm always trying to tell people in this industry. And I think BJ is just, I think he knows more about it than me. Like, I think he's figured it out. Like, if he wasn't an artist, he would be an agent, a manager, or something. Like, he's you know, publishing house. I don't know, but he would definitely be crushing it.
Well, he's also one of those singers, man. Like when you hear his voice, you know it's him. You know, like, but his lyrics, like I said, I think the first time we played with him, it was 2010, and I'm sure I'll bring it up to him. But, you know, I remember watching their show back then and being like, okay, that's how a band does it.
Oh, for sure.
Because their live shows are great.
Dude, they're phenomenal. And he is, I've said it before, whatever he does on stage, there's like never a bad moment for a photographer to capture him. Like it's all his facial expressions, everything about it is just, he's into it, man.
Yeah. And dude, you know, he's done it, you know, for 20 plus years. I think around 20 years, but you can tell he's one of those artists that still love it.
Oh, for sure.
Because he doesn't do it for anybody else. He does it for himself. We did a show up in Montana, and man, this lineup was stacked. It was us, them, and Band of Heathens. And it was like this little thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, man.
There's that town, pretty sure I booked it. Can't remember the town now, and I don't know if they still do that thing, but it was like a city event in a small town, like right there in Montana. God, I wish I could remember the name.
I can't even remember it.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't, was it Bozeman?
No, it was like a small town.
Outside of Bozeman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, man, that lineup that night, I just remember being on that show, and Band of Heathens, man, those dudes are rock. Like
yeah.
Dude, those guys are great. But that lineup was, you know, we opened up the evening, and then they went on, and then American Aquarium came on, and I mean, just crushed it. It's, you know, it's all in the same kind of vein of just kind of the rock and roll, that thing. But I mean, it was such a good night. It was so much fun, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So should we bring him on?
Let's do it.
All right. BJ Barham, American Aquarium. What's going on, man?
What's up, dude? How are you guys?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Good. Hanging in.
Dude, appreciate you coming on first and foremost. I don't know if you listened to any of the other episodes. This is only episode 4, but last week it was just Bryan and I, and we talked, just about bands coming up and how they can make some money, and merch being a big part of that, and touring, and basically everything you figured out. And I don't, dude, I really think, you have, and you've done it successfully for 20 years.
Yeah, it's you got to get good at something. You got to make a whole lot of mistakes at it, and so I fell into all the pitfalls I think that most bands fall into, just learning the business. Bands like us are never going to get signed to major record labels, and so once you come to that conclusion, you have 2 choices. You can either just be like, well, I'm going to go to fucking law school, or I can try to figure this out on my own. And, Josh, you know me, and you've known me for a long time. Like, there's no quit in my blood. Like, when I found out that the record label way was not a way to go, I just knew that I had to figure it out. And again, I talk to probably 2 or 3 bands a month. They call me and they're like, hey, what's the secret? How do you get to where you are? And like, there's no secret. It's just the hard way. The hard way is the way to get here. It takes 20 years. It takes playing 200 shows a year. It takes putting the work in to master a craft and build a fan base. And I'm not afraid of telling people that, because I know that 99% of the bands out there aren't going to do it that way.
Yeah, they'll give up. I remember, I don't know if it was an interview or something you said to me or what, but there was a quote that you said a long time ago where, and you've probably said it many times, where I might not be the best singer, I might not have the biggest fan base, but like I go to sleep at night knowing nobody outworked me today.
Yeah. Like, that's the one variable I get to control. I've got this face. This face is not made for top 40 country music. I've got this voice, and on my best day, I sound like Springsteen. On my worst day, I sound like the Rock Eater from the Never Ending Story. I can't change that. I can't change how good of a song I can write today. I can keep writing and try to get better. But the one thing I get to control every single day when I get out of bed is I get to look to my left and look to my right and be like, none of these motherfuckers are going to outwork me. And for 20 straight years, that's just kind of been the thing. And now that I'm 20 years into it, I'm having to teach myself how to take the foot off the gas and just enjoy open highway. I've already passed a lot of the people that were standing in my way. And so now what I'm learning at 40 is, man, you ain't got to push it all the way to the floor 24/7. Like, enjoy the thing you've built for a second. And that's really what the last 5 years of my life has been, is holy shit, like, this thing can keep moving forward without me pressing the gas all the time.
I remember, and I've seen it firsthand, when I first started working with John Folk, your agent, it was, these guys are always working, book a show. They're never off tour. And then when you had Burl, it definitely is like more organized touring. Like, hey, we're going to go out for 70 days a year and hit the best markets we can. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. We're going to, he's going to enjoy his time at home and what he's worked hard for.
Yeah, I guess BJ, like, tell us a little bit about that, man. I've followed your career. We played with you guys in Birmingham like in 2010, and we did the
Zydeco.
Zydeco, yes sir. Vagabonds and American Aquarium back in 2010. But man, tell us a little bit about, I know you're still doing the show. How do you balance your tour life with your home life? How do you do it?
It took some hard lessons. The way I look at this, and I tell people, my wife signed up for this. My wife didn't marry a guy going to law school who turned rock star. My wife met me when I was doing this. My wife knew what to expect. My wife knew for the rest of my life this is what I was going to do. My daughter didn't sign up for this. My daughter didn't get into this to have a dad that lives on the road 300 days a year. When I finally realized that, So when Pearl was born, we went from playing 250 shows a year, probably back to about 150. And then the first year of that, I was like, man, that's still that's half the year. Like I'm on the road. So we pulled back to 100, and that's still too many. Like I still feel like I'm missing stuff. And then the last few years, it's been really fine tuning it between like 5 shows a year, you know? So it went from 100 to 90 to 80 to 70. And I think this year we're pushing it back up to like 75 because the boys were like, it would really help if we could have a couple more shows, you know, and as long as you don't feel like you're throwing home life out of balance. And so I think for the next probably decade, it's really going to be kind of fine tuning it between, is it 72? Is it 73? What's that sweet spot where everybody's stoked to have the gig, but also, you know, when you start saying 70 shows a year, that's 300 days you get to be home. You know, I would argue that at this point in my career, I'm home more than the dad that works a 9 to 5.
For sure.
Collectively. Like over the course of a year, I guarantee I get to spend more time with my kid than the 9 to 5 dad. And that's a dub in my book. That's a win.
For sure.
Yeah.
The shows, I would imagine, sorry,
No, go ahead.
probably get better as well because you're not out there all the time. So the fans are coming out on a
Simple
Wednesday.
supply and demand. You know, instead of going in Georgia, instead of playing Columbus, Atlanta, Athens, Macon, Valdosta, Chattanooga, everywhere, you can just play Atlanta. And all of those people that you've built over the last 20 years are going to make that drive on a Saturday night to see you play Atlanta. Therefore, 6 markets converging on one major city, better shows. All we did was remove the supply. It used to be, hey, we're coming to town. It's like, well, if I miss them this time, I'll see them next month whenever they're coming right back through the same fucking venue. Now it's, no matter where you live, I will come within 5 hours of you once a year. I guarantee that. Every year.
And it's up to you to come out.
Yeah, I like how you said that, man, because I think some bands, I mean, you know, I think bands do that in their career when they first start. You know, we did it as well. I mean, like saturation, man. Like you realize that you go to a market too much and there's, you know, too much. Like you just said, like I'll see you next week. Mm-hmm. You know, and I like the way you said that. That's I mean, it's a good way to like tour and stuff. So I think that's a really good.
Well, I think every band at the start, you find your honey holes. And then every tour, you try to go back to that place that's working until you hit that point of diminishing returns where you're like, man, maybe we've milked this too hard. Maybe going back every 2 months to the Whitewater Tavern in Little Rock isn't helping us in Little Rock. Maybe we should do it every 6 months. Maybe we should do it once a year. And then now it's to the point where like every now and then, like we'll throw a Whitewater Tavern show in and it sells out in an hour because we announce it the morning of, because we haven't played there in 4 or 5 years. You know, it's doing things the wrong way until you figure out what the right way is. And then you just get to keep doing shit the right way. And then 20 years into your career, it looks like you know what you're doing. And you want to tell people, you're like, I made every mistake in the book. It's just, you're getting to see this version of me. Knows all the wrong ways to go. So like, obviously I'm choosing the right way now.
I'm just curious if there was ever a moment like early on where you realized like, all right, this isn't just a college band, like this is a lifetime, or did you always?
Last year, you know, it was probably the first 10 years of my life until I got sober, because, you know, in the words of Robert Earl Keen, you know, the road goes on forever, the party never ends. Like I didn't feel like anything had changed since college. I was still the guy who's loading into the shitty bar every night, playing songs with my friends. I just happened to blink and a decade went by. You know what I mean? Like I blinked and all of a sudden I'm 30. All of my friends are climbing the corporate ladder, have, you know, 1.5 kids, the white picket fence, they're working on the beach house. And I'm still the guy doing exactly what I was doing when I was 20. And I think that was the moment where I was like, either I start treating this like a business, either I start treating this like a full-time job, or I need to get out of here. I'm going to die. I'm going to die doing this because The way I explain it to people is everybody gets a little wild on a Friday or Saturday night every now and then. Imagine every night of your life is that Saturday night that you get wild. And imagine it just dulls to the point where like all you do is wake up and start partying on a Tuesday, you know? And you get to another town, another venue, another sound guy who doesn't give a shit what you do. And it all kind of starts to run together. That 10 years was a lot of fun, but it was just a blur, and I didn't take it seriously. I can't tell you how many times I came to Nashville and I met so-and-so head of A&R, so-and-so at a booking agency, so-and-so at a management company. And then I get on stage and be like, fuck Nashville. I don't need anybody's help. Fuck all of y'all. Y'all are all a bunch of posers and you're ruining country music. And then after the show, they're not there to talk to. And then your manager at the time comes up and is like, do you know who you just told to go fuck themselves? And I'm like, I don't even give a shit. I'm 22. Nobody can rule me. And then at 29, you're like, oh shit, that dude is now the president of whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you want to do a show with whatever artist he represents. And all he can remember is not the current version sitting in front of you guys that has his shit together, that runs a business, that takes it seriously. All he can remember is that shithead 23-year-old standing on stage at 12th and Porter telling him to go fuck himself. You know, and
so don't do that.
Yeah.
For anybody out there, don't do that.
To the youngins out there, don't tell anybody to go fuck themselves, because you will either hit them on their way up or way down, or you're on your way up or way back down, and you're gonna wish that you'd have been kinder to people. I'm lucky. I've hit the point in my career where I've been sober longer in my career than I wasn't, and so now I've been nicer to people more times than I was a dickhead to people. And I'm starting to see that return. But it took 10 years for me to get past the first 10 years of just being an absolute shit. Like, I was a dumb kid. You know, I don't think any 22-year-old kid on the road has it figured out. Especially today, where these kids are getting famous off of TikTok and then they're immediately going on tour. They're not mentally ready for that. And we're watching people have like complete collapse, like mental breakdowns halfway through their first bus tour because they think this is hard. I'm like, you wouldn't have lasted 10 minutes in the van, kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah, that's definitely one thing I wanted to ask you about, is like the social media aspect of it. Because just like you said, I think it's a good and bad thing, because like you said, people are having these breakdowns. But man, you listen to these songs online and then you go see them live and there's no show there. They didn't beat the road.
They haven't been developed.
Right.
Or they haven't developed that side of the craft yet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I think is, especially for, guys like you and us, like you see this, I think not a jealousy thing, but you're like, how did, you just start questioning things in your career that you've done. So you watch these people blow up, but you feel kind of bad for them, man, because you're right. Like you don't know.
Yeah, we can be honest. There's some jealousy there. There's always that moment. I can admit that. I can admit that I look at these 22-year-old kids who are selling out 3,000 cap rooms. I'm a little jealous. The guy who put 20 years in and I've never reached the point they just like fell into. Like, there's a little bit of like animosity and jealousy there, but not like a mean jealousy, not like a fuck that kid. It's just like, man, how'd that work for him? And all I've tried to do, like our rule since day one, play as many shows as you can, become a really good live band, and always try to write a better song today than you did yesterday. And over the course of 20 years, we're a really good fucking band, and we're writing really good songs. And just like a plumber or an electrician or a cabinet maker, we have perfected our craft over 20 years. We are a family business that has been owned and operated by the same family, and they take pride in the product they deliver. I'm no different than any other mom and pop shop here in my hometown. So, of course, when the new shop opens up and takes all the business away and didn't do any of the groundwork for it, there's I think anybody who says they're not jealous is lying to you, because there's a moment of jealousy every time I see one of these kids headlining a festival or selling out a room that I've only dreamed of playing. There's jealousy there. I can admit that. The problem I have with it is shortcuts. There's always been shortcuts in our career, whether it's in the early 2000s signing to a major label, getting worked in the radio machine, whatever it is. There's always going to be shortcuts, and I'm never going to judge somebody too harshly on trying to take a shortcut. They weren't for me, because shortcuts mean you have to give up something in order to take that shortcut. When you sign the record deal, they own it. That's something you gave up to take that ride. When like these young kids, they're signing away stuff in perpetuity. They have no idea what the fucking word perpetuity means. That's the first lesson I teach any of these kids is if you see the word perpetuity, do not sign anything. That means they own it for the rest of your life. And at 20, the rest of your life's a very long time. I wish I could talk to some of these kids before they sign these deals without sounding like the boomer uncle that's like, like, we walk to school uphill both ways in the snow every single day. But like, there's something to be said about, and there's still a few bands doing it. There's still a few bands that ain't afraid of the road. Shout out to my girl, Taylor Honeycutt. There's people out there who are piling into vans, hitting the road for 200-300 days a year, and playing in front of people that don't give a shit until those people start giving a shit. And that's the way to make it. Like when you build this thing foundationally, when you take each brick by brick and build this thing up, no matter what trend comes, no matter what storm comes, no matter what the music business ebb and flow happens, when you build a foundationally sound business, it can't be swayed by trend. It can't be swayed by popular opinion. It can't be swayed by getting a different booking agent. It can't be swayed by streaming numbers. That's the thing I want to tell these kids. Yeah, man, you got like 5 years max of riding this TikTok thing out. What are you going to do after that? Have you invested your money? Did you buy a house? Are you going to take care of the future family? Because this doesn't last. Because there's going to be a new kid with a harder jawline singing more songs about factory work at 21 than you are. And you're going to fade. Are you prepared to fade? Because you're not foundationally built.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish more of these adults would tell these kids this instead of just preying on them and taking advantage of them. And I might be wrong. There's going to be a few of these kids that rise through it and break through it. Some of these kids are built different, and I'll give them that. But I would say the vast majority of these kids that are just getting big, playing their song in the middle of a field and not touring and not putting the work in to get better at being an entertainer, that's going to be a short-lived career, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always called it kind of like I always say like the American Idol generation.
Yeah.
Like it's always just like this instant gratification that, like you're saying, man, like you do have to get out there. You've got to, it's kind of like a pilot. You got to fly your 1,000 hours before, but you will crash and burn.
Well, that's what he mentioned Taylor, and
Yeah.
her and Josh used to call me, her husband, guitar player as well. They used to call me all the time because I've known him forever. I've known Josh literally forever. Like, hey, what do we do? Like, we want to change. Like, they were just stuck playing Floribama, the 3-4 hour sets. I was like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, how we make money is like, fuck it, stop. Like, get out on the road, go play somewhere else. And yeah, you're gonna make less money, but I guarantee you the 4 people you played for will be 8 next time, and then that'll be 16, and it's gonna keep growing. And she's killing it now.
Yeah. Speaking of your 20-year career, BJ, like is there a song that you put on the set list every night that you're like, one, like I'm excited to play, and that the crowd's just eat it up?
Oh,
that,
dude.
That's the one that what song is that for you?
Casualties. When I play Casualties, I know that's my favorite song to play live. Because that song is always like 4th or 5th on the set list. That's where our band finds 6th gear. That's where we are cooking. Everybody in the crowd's like, holy shit, who is this band? Why have I never heard of this band? Oh my God, they're great. When we hit that song, you literally see people's eyes open wider. You literally see people's mouth open wider. And they're just like, what? Why is this dude? Where does this coming from? Like, I didn't think it could get any higher. And then this dude really showed me what he's got. We watch it every night. We watch it happen every night. And that's why it's my favorite part, is because you get to see the crowd immediately take that jump with you and meet you at that level. And so energy's high in the crowd, energy's high on stage. I'm an old man these days. I'm 41. but I can still cut around that stage like a 20-year-old, and I'm still wild as hell on stage. When I get off stage, my back hurt, my knees hurt, my hips hurt. I got to do my stretches. But when I'm on that stage,
Have you proven?
I got to take my anti-inflammatories. I got to do some stretching. I got to roll that hip out a little bit. But when I'm on that stage, and you put me beside of a 22-year-old TikTok kid, friend, you know, hold this for me, kid. Watch how it's done. And my favorite part about that is when you're opening for these kids at these big festivals who haven't done it like we have, who haven't perfected the craft. They have the bigger crowd. They have the bigger following, and they make far more money than I do. But my favorite thing is to walk on that stage for 45 minutes before them and then walk off stage and be like, good luck with that, kid. Like, let the stage cool down first before you step on. I don't want you to burn yourself. I don't want you to mess up them $300 shoes, because that's how you fucking do it. And that doesn't come from a place of being cocky. That comes from a place of being extremely confident in the experience I provide. You know why? Because I have 20 years telling me that I'm doing it the right way.
Right. Would you say that Casualty is one of the songs, like, say that nobody, you know, has heard of American Aquarium BJ? Would you say that's the song if you had to sum up your catalog? Like, hey, if you want to know who we are, check this song out.
I think that's a really good one. I think that whole record, that Burn, Flicker, Die record, is something you can have. That's anytime somebody comes to the merch table and is like, you know, let's say we're opening for Turnpike or something, and they're like, never heard of you. What record should I start with? I'm like, you start with Burn, Flicker, Die and move forward until you hit something you don't like, and then maybe start with Burn, Flicker, Die and move back till you hit something you don't like. That's the moment our band realized we'd never have to work jobs again. In 2012, when that record came out, that was the first moment where we said, holy shit, we never have to work again. We get to play music for the rest of our life, because we tapped into something very visceral. We tapped into something that, like, our casual fans became rabid super fans. And then the first time listeners immediately went to the merch table and bought stuff. We realized we had something with Burn, Flicker, Die. So I always start people with that record, but that's Casualties. That's Burn, Flicker, Die. That's Lonely Ain't Easy. That's a hefty portion of our set list. You know, Cape Fear River, St. Mary's. Like, that's a record that we still play all of those songs off that record. Every song off of Burn, Flicker, Die, we still play live. 13 years later, we're still playing every one of those songs. And there's a reason for that. It's because I know what those songs can do. Those, like, everybody has a superpower. I know what those songs, I know what they hold, and I know what order to put them in to blow your fucking brain off. And when we're opening for, you know, these big bands, like when we play in Red Rocks, we just released a new record called Live at Red Rocks. It's not an edited thing. It's our entire 45-minute set, 11 songs. It's a board recording. And as soon as you hear us walk on stage, the minute we start playing, you realize what everybody in that crowd that night realized. This band is not here to fuck around. They have 45 minutes to hurt us, and they're going to take all 45 minutes to hurt us. It was a full-on assault, and what I try to tell people, that's not just because it was Red Rocks. I'm going to do that to you in whatever venue I get booked on a Tuesday in Shreveport. I'm going to come out swinging as hard as I can, and I'm going to make you leave. You might not like me when you leave, but you will fucking respect me when you leave. And every single night, that's what me and the boys do. If I go out on tour, I've got a 17-day tour coming up. Guess what? I'm playing 17 nights, 17. If I'm out for 17 days, I'm playing 17 shows. And every one of those shows, I am swinging until I can't swing anymore. We're playing 3 hours a night, every single night for 2.5 weeks. And I've done it since I was 21, so I've gotten pretty good at it. And that's what I try to tell people. I was like, this sounds cocky. This isn't cocky. This is confidence. I know the product that I'm giving people, and I'm only charging them $25 a night for it. I'm not charging them $100 for something that people who are charging $100 a night should be giving them. And so, you know, that's why me and the boys, we walk off stage every night, and anytime you see these kids getting famous or you see somebody else getting put on a festival that you didn't make, we know what we got. And we know anytime we're given those opportunities that we seize them. And, 20 years in, I feel really great about seizing opportunities. Like, could it get bigger? Yes, it could. I would love for it to get bigger as long as I don't have to sacrifice what I believe in to get bigger. But if my career ends here, if it never arcs up, if it just stops here and stays here, I've got 10 people that work for me that make full-blown livings playing 70 shows a year. I've got a fan base that supports every single endeavor I have jumped into. I own 100% of my masters. I own 100% of my publishing. If it never gets bigger than this, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it.
I own it. Nobody can ever take this away from me. No label can drop me. No radio station can stop playing my singles. No social media platform can shut down and it affect my career. Show me any of those other kids that can say that. Show me any of those kids that can say one of those things. I'll wait.
No, I mean, you're absolutely true. But speaking of music, you guys were just in the studio, is that correct? I think y'all post something about recording with Shooter, is that correct?
Yeah, we just made our third record with Shooter out in Los Angeles. It'll be out in the summer. It is done. Like we usually book 10 days to make records. And this time I had to go on a tour with Murder by Death right after the studio, so I only could book 9 days. And then I took a red-eye flight out on day 9 and met Murder by Death the next day and started a tour with them. So we had 9 days, so we were a little worried because 9 days, one less day, as anybody who's ever been in the studio knows, sometimes you're still cutting on the last day. You're still trying to get keeper tracks. You're still doing overdubs. You're still doing something. We were done with this record on day 5.
That's awesome.
Like done. Like so much so.
Have you picked out a name yet?
What's that?
Have you picked out a name yet?
We're holding everything pretty close to our vest on this one. But it's a 10-song record. It's 45 minutes.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to. I saw Shooter text you about playing a song for Misty and like she couldn't finish it.
I'll say this. It is the most rock and roll record we've ever made. It makes Burn Flicker Die look like the Little Mermaid. It's a big fucking record. Just sonically, it's a really big rock record, but we finished it in 5 days. And my favorite part was usually you have to send off the record to get like horns put on it or background vocals. The boys did all the background vocals on the record. We brought a horn section in, got to watch them chart it out, got to watch them play it live. We had so much time to really kind of fine-tooth comb this record. And we left, as soon as we left, we sent it to Trina Shoemaker to mix. Like she's already halfway through mixed the record. We got out of the studio November 10th, and by December 1st, I'll have a finished record in my hands. Like, I've never made a record this fast. I've never made a record this easy. It's the most enjoyable process I've ever had making a record, and I think that's because when you work with people you trust over and over again, every time it's supposed to get easier. It's supposed to be fun. You learn each other's quirks. You learn what each other like, what each other don't like. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that our third record with Shooter was the easiest one to make and the most fun I think this band has ever had in the studio.
And what number record is this? This is
our 11th
14?
studio album. It'll be our 20th album we've released on Losing Side Records.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. I mean, to be able to do it, I do have a question, man. I know, we've talked about it, and I truly love your songwriting and stuff like that. I always ask songwriters this because I'm always curious. What comes first? Is it the melody and the music, or is it the lyrics?
For me, it's always the lyrics. Everybody else in my band will tell you music always comes first. Music rules. Music rules everything. For me, it's always lyrics. And it starts with a one-liner, and it starts me saying it over and over again until kind of a natural melody presents itself. And then once a melody presents itself, I just pick up a guitar and try to find whatever cowboy chords can kind of get that melody to a point where I can like play it for people. And then once I play it for the band, that's where they take these like simple, rudimentary folk songs and turn them into these really big rock songs. I give them the bones, they put the meat on there. And that's a really fun process because it allows me to be a front man for a rock band, but it allows me to also strip everything away to what it started as, and I get to be a folk singer. And we always joke, there's a lot of really great bands with shitty frontmen, and there's a lot of really great songwriters with shitty bands. The ones that we're trying to be, the band that we're trying to be, has both. That's Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. That's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That's Neil Young and Crazy Horse. That's every band that I've ever loved has a front man that also writes monster songs with a great shit hot rock and roll band behind him. But when you take that shit hot rock and roll band behind him, you're still left with a really great songwriter. And that's what this band takes a lot of pride in, is because nowadays I don't think that's a thing. There's not a lot of really great songwriters, in my opinion, that have really great rock and roll bands behind them. And there's not a lot of really great rock and roll bands that are saying anything other than like nursery rhyme bullshit.
Yeah. Well, BJ, thanks for coming on, man. It really means a lot to me, and I hope we can have you on again one day. I think you got a lot of knowledge that you can drop.
Oh, dude, I'm happy to yell into the void whenever you invite me on, man. I love yelling into the abyss about the shit that I like and the shit that I hate.
Absolutely, we'll definitely have you back. Before you go, man, I want you, it's the funniest story I've ever heard you share, and I want you to tell it on here. And it's, I think it was your first time playing Nashville at the end.
Oh, it was the Springwater Supper Club.
Springwater Supper Club, that's it.
We were playing at the Springwater Supper Club. I'll never forget. I was so excited to play the Springwater Supper Club. I booked it on MySpace. This is 2007 when I booked this show, and I looked at the guys. I remember I was still waiting tables at the time, and I remember I got the email that like you've been, we got the best slot of the night. We got like the 6 p.m. slot on a Tuesday at the Springwater Supper Club. And I remember running to band practice and being like, guys, we're going to Nashville. Like, we've made it. We get to play Music City, USA. And I remember we pulled up, and I had these like dreams that it was like the Ryman. It might as well, in my mind, it might as well be in the fucking Ryman. We're in Nashville. So I pull up to the Springwater Supper Club, and anybody that lives in the vicinity of Nashville knows that the Springwater Supper Club is not a fancy place. It is not a supper club. The water is not clean. There's nothing. This name,
not a spring around.
We call this a misnomer in the business. It's like calling a fat guy tiny. This is a horrible, horrible place to be. But it's kind of legendary for being so shitty. And so we get up there and we realize like, okay, we got one shot because, this is where the idiom comes from. Like, you never know who's in the crowd. It could be like the head of A&R for like Sony, and he could be one of these 10 people. And if we play the right set, this guy's going to sign us and turn us into the biggest act in the world. Right. And so, the Springwater Supper Club, their deal was structured where if you could pull like 20 people to pay a ticket, you got paid 50% of the door. But if you couldn't pull 20 people, they kept whatever door money came in for that hour, and you didn't get anything. And they did this every hour. And it's a genius move for a business because every hour you're guaranteed new drinkers, and you're also you're able to book 6 or 7 bands a night. Like, it's a great move. So we get up there and we play our set. We suck. This is 2007. We're the worst band easily the worst. Every other band is at least like a real band. We're god awful. But while we're playing it, we might as well be in Madison Square Garden, dude. I was doing fucking rock kicks. I was foot up on the monitor playing a fucking open G chord. Fuck all of you people. And we get done with our set, and I walk off stage fucking peacock, and I'm just like, y'all see that? You fucking see that? That's North Carolina, baby. Come on. And obviously not enough people paid, so we didn't get paid. and nobody gave a shit what we were doing on stage. We might as well have been juggling, and nobody cared. And so we walk off stage, and we're sitting at the bar, and I go to the bartender like a dumbass. I'm like, hey, like I'm here to settle up. And they're like, you had 7 people pay like while you were on stage, and like 5 people left while you were on stage. So like, no, you're not getting paid. Like you ran people off with whatever shit you call music. Like, get fucked, kid. Welcome to Nashville. And I remember being so dejected. I remember being so let down by it. And the next band changed my life. The next band came on, and like they lit this fire under my ass basically, and was like, if you want to make it in this business, you got to be good. You got to be better. You got to practice. You got to take it serious. You got to treat it like a job. You got to write better songs. You got to have a better band. But they didn't say any of that shit. But that's what I heard. Because they walked on stage, and it was, this is a genre-less venue. So they're booking literally every band on MySpace that messages them. So the band walks on stage, and the only way I can describe this band is imagine your dad started a band. And imagine that your dad works at Guitar Center. And so imagine your dad is a Guitar Center employee who starts a band with other people that work at Guitar Center. So he gets a bass player from the bass department, a drummer from the drum department. So he assembles this Guitar Center. I'll even throw Sam Ash in there, this conglomerate of music store virtuosos. And they assemble a band. And imagine the only band that all 4 of these people have in common are Richmond, Virginia shock rock band GWAR. So your dad and his Guitar Center friends who love GWAR started a band to be GWAR. But your dad and his Guitar Center friends, they can't afford the theatrics. They can't afford the costumes. They can't afford the sheer amount of blood and semen it takes to be GWAR. But they want to be GWAR, so they do the best they can. They improvise, and they go to like a Play It Again Sports, and they buy football pads and football helmets, and they spray paint them black, and they spray paint the helmets black, and they wear blackout makeup. And they're trying to be as scary as possible. They're trying to look like demons from hell, but they don't have the money for that. So like they're doing the best they can. So they got the football pads, they got the football helmets, but the best part of the costume is somebody in that group decided this was a great idea. They super glued fluorescent dildos all over the football pads and all over the football helmets. And so you've got these black football pads, black football helmet, rainbow dildos everywhere. And they walked on stage, and there's the house amplifier is like a big Marshall half stack, like a solid state half stack. And he walks on stage, he plugs in, fuck a tuner. He's tuning by ear. And he's just big old flying V, but not like a cool, like Gibson flying V. It's like the Washburn Rip. And so he's up there, and he's just like, he's tuning this thing, by hand. So it's meow, meow, meow. And then he gets done. He looks right at me, and he says, Americana night is fucking over. And then they proceeded to play almost as bad of a set as we did. And I remember in that moment, I was like, holy shit, like, I'm embarrassed because some 45-year-old jackleg just embarrassed me in front of these 8 people at the bar, 3 of which are probably whatever Holiday Inn cocktail waitress they're dating. And so I go home, and I start writing better songs. I start putting together a better band. I start taking touring seriously. And then probably a decade later, I had to buy some time. And so I told this story on stage. And some kid in the crowd was like, I love that band. I was like, what band are you talking about? He's like, the band with the football helmets and the dildos. And I was like, kid, this is like a decade ago. There's no fucking way you've ever seen. There's no way this band toured. There's no way this band played probably more than that one show. He's like, yeah, they come to my town once a year. They're awesome. They're called Shat. And I was like the previous tense of shit. And he said, yeah, they're called Shat. They rule. And sure enough, he like Googled it, and there they were in all of their fucking glory. It's the band, dildos and football pads, and like you can listen. You can go on Spotify right now and listen to them. They have one record. It's a greatest hits album. It's 37 songs. It's about 15 minutes long, and you don't even need to listen to it. Just read the song titles. You don't even need to listen to it. The song titles are so telling of what kind of music they play. And to this day, I'm so glad now because of that kid, I now have a band to thank every night when I play a certain song. Because I wrote a song when I left the bar that night, a song called City Lights off of Dances for the Lonely. It's about playing a bar in Nashville and not playing to anybody and sucking and realizing like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I away from the people that I care about? Why am I away? I need to start taking this serious. But now every night when I play it, I make sure I thank Shat for inspiring me. Because I truly believe that our band wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for Shat. And I've told this story enough at our shows to where our fans have went to like Shat's website and bought Shat merch for me. So whenever Shat puts out like a new shirt, that's just like a dildo football helmet shirt, like they bring it to me, and it's the greatest thing in the world that this like crazy, like shock rock dad band, is now somehow intertwined with a song of mine from 2008. But wherever Shat is in the world right now, thank you. For inspiring this redneck kid from Reidsville to take this business a little bit more serious.
Well, I know that a couple of years is going to be 25 years. Are they going to be the opener?
Dude,
Just bring them on the road with you.
I think Shat would tell me to go fuck myself if I ever offered them anything. It's like, dude, we've heard the story for like the last 20 years. Like, fuck off, dude. There's no way we'd ever play with you again. And then my response would be like, what if you headlined? And we open for you. But yeah, that story.
Road trip to Raleigh featuring Shat.
Dude, every time I drive by Springwater Supper Club, it's all I can think about. The only thing I can think about is like one of the worst nights of my life that quickly turned into one of the best nights of my life.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, BJ, thanks again, man.
Dude, thanks for having me on, guys. And like I said, good luck with the podcast. And thanks for letting me get on here and spat a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Y'all be good.
All right.
Dude, that is hilarious.
That is.
Dude, he's one of those guys, man. He's been on the road for he's got so many stories.
Yeah.
And dude, we would have to do multiple episodes.
Oh, we didn't even dig
Scratch,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but man,
we got papers of questions we wanted to ask him and but let him talk. That's the best way.
Yeah.
I love it. I love his stories.
I know he's sober and stuff, but dude, it would be so much fun to just sit down and have a couple beers with him and just, you know what I mean, go through these road stories. But he's just one of those guys, man. I mean, like I said, when we played with him in 2010, he was super nice. And I think we kind of, because we knew they were really established. And I remember like, us just kind of like picking his brain. And even back then, he was very, very, nice to us. And last time I saw him, I think I met his wife and kid. And so he's always been one of those guys that truly wants to see the band succeed. So he's always like just
every night he ends the set with, thanking people for supporting live, independent, original music. And he doesn't take a break. Like when that set ends, he's at the merch table.
Yeah.
Like there's no, let me sit for 15 minutes and cool down. It's instant, and he will stand there for hours. Like he's the guy that's,
he's real.
Nope. Yeah. And nobody's going to outwork him.
No.
I fully believe that.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Next week, we'll try to get Shad on.
Yeah.
And, whoa, that sounded weird.
No, hey man, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, it is. When this comes out, it's gonna be Thanksgiving.
Yep.
But yeah,
watch
you
it
guys.
with your family.
Yeah, watch it with your family, and we'll try to bleep out some stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to After Loadout, sponsored by the Wallet Drum Key, Signal Fire Agency, and Georgia Fire Hot Sauce here in the Brookstone studio. Y'all check back next week. We're gonna have episode
5. That's
With
the one.
Shat.
Hey, I do want to plug the Discord and Patreon.
Plug it, bro.
Yeah, got the Patreon set up with tiers and have a Discord server that you can join us, chat with us. There's already at least one artist on there chatting it up. It's free for everyone, and then there is some private channels for Patreon subscribers that will have like some live streams and Q&As eventually. So, yeah.
And also, hey, we're gonna we'll post the number to call in if you guys have a question for any of the artists coming up, and we'll try to post who we got coming up, and you guys can come up with some questions, or if you have some questions for us. But yeah, we'll keep this going, man.
Everything is on afterloadout.com. So check us out.
Check it out.
Peace.